Memory is often described as a recording device, a biological hard drive archiving our past with high-fidelity precision. We believe that when we recall a moment, we are pressing play on an immutable file. But neuroscience suggests something far more unsettling. Memory is not a recording, it is a reconstruction, a creative act. And sometimes, millions of us reconstruct the exact same lie. Consider the case of Nelson Mandela. For a significant segment of the global population, the South African anti-apartheid revolutionary died in prison during the 1980s. People distinctly remember the news broadcasts, the funeral procession, and the weeping widow on television. This memory is vivid, emotional, and specific. However, history records a different timeline. Nelson Mandela did not die in prison. He was released in 1990, served as president of South Africa from 1994 to 1999, and passed away from a respiratory infection on December 5, 2013. When this discrepancy was highlighted by paranormal researcher Fiona Broome at DragonCon in 2010, it birthed a term that has since permeated pop culture, the Mandela Effect. The Mandela Effect is defined as a phenomenon where a large group of people share a false memory of an event or fact. It is distinct from simple forgetfulness because of the specific, consistent nature of the error. It isn't that people don't remember, it's that they remember incorrectly in the exact same way. This collective cognitive dissonance has spawned theories ranging from simple psychological quirks to complex multiverse mechanics. Perhaps the most pervasive example involves the Berenstain Bears. A vast number of adults who grew up reading these books insist the name was spelled Berenstain with an E. The cognitive friction here is potent because Stein is a common suffix in surnames like Einstein or Bernstein, whereas Stain is phonetically awkward and rare. This is a classic example of schema theory in action. Schema theory posits that our brains organize information into patterns or schemas to process data efficiently. When we encounter the proper name Berenstain, our brain recognizes the pattern of a surname but rejects the unfamiliar Einstein suffix, automatically correcting it to the statistically more probable Einstein before encoding the memory. You aren't remembering the book, you are remembering your brain's auto-corrected version of it. Then there is the non-existent movie Shazaam, allegedly starring the comedian Sinbad as a genie. Thousands claim to have rented this VHS in the mid-90s. They describe the plot, the cover art, and even specific scenes. Yet this movie never existed. This is likely a conflation of two separate realities: the 1996 movie Kazam, starring Shaquille O'Neal, and Sinbad's costume from a generic TV hosting gig in 1994, where he dressed somewhat like a genie. This is known as a source monitoring error. The brain correctly stores various semantic elements, 90s comedy, genie movie, Sinbad, Shaq, but fails to attribute them to their correct sources. Over time, these fragmented data points merge into a cohesive, albeit false, narrative. The memory feels real because the components are real, only their assembly is a fabrication. One of the most stubborn examples is the Fruit of the Loom logo. Many recall a cornucopia, a wicker horn of plenty behind the arrangement of fruit. The company historically confirms the logo has never featured a cornucopia. Yet, the memory is so pervasive that it inspired the cover art for Frank Wess's 1973 jazz album, Fruit of the Loom, which parodied the logo by including the cornucopia. This creates a recursive loop of false reinforcement. Did the jazz album creator also suffer from the Mandela Effect in 1973? Or did the parody album itself seed the false memory in the cultural consciousness? This phenomenon is often bolstered by priming. Once the suggestion of a cornucopia is introduced, the brain searches for it, and in its absence, hallucinates the detail to fit the expected archetype of a fruit arrangement. In 2022, researchers Deepa Prasad and Wilma Bainbridge from the University of Chicago conducted the first scientific study specifically on the Visual Mandela Effect, or VME. They presented participants with correct and manipulated versions of icons like the Monopoly Man, who does not wear a monocle, and Pikachu, whose tail does not have a black tip. The results were statistically significant and startling.
Participants not only consistently chose the incorrect images, but expressed high confidence in their choices. Even when shown the correct version moments prior, many reverted to the false memory. The study suggests that certain visual features are consistent across populations due to how we process iconography. We essentially autofill accessories that imply status, like a monocle for a rich banker, or contrast, a black tip on a yellow tail.
While psychology offers robust explanations, the internet has popularized a more radical hypothesis: quantum immortality and the many worlds interpretation. Proposed by physicist Hugh Everett III in 1957, this theory suggests that every quantum event spawns branching realities. The conjecture is that our consciousness can slide between these adjacent realities, particularly during near-death experiences or high-energy events. Proponents of this theory frequently point to the activation of the Large Hadron Collider at CERN. The narrative suggests that high-energy particle collisions in 2012 might have destabilized our reality or merged it with a parallel timeline where Nelson Mandela died in the 80s or the Berenstain Bears were spelled differently. While this makes for compelling science fiction, it lacks any empirical evidence in standard physics. The most likely culprit for the acceleration of the Mandela effect is the internet itself. It acts as an echo chamber for misinformation. Confabulation, the production of fabricated memories without the intent to deceive, is contagious. When a user posts, "Does anyone else remember?" and thousands affirm it, the social reinforcement solidifies the error. It becomes a mimetic virus, rewriting the collective database of human knowledge. In the end, the Mandela effect reveals less about the universe and more about the fragility of the human mind. Our memories are not static archives. They are living, breathing narratives that we constantly edit to make sense of the world. We prioritize meaning over accuracy and patterns over anomalies. We are not flawed recorders. We are efficient storytellers. Whether we are sliding through parallel dimensions or simply falling victim to the limits of neurology, the result is the same. Reality is subjective. The next time you are absolutely certain of a detail from your past, pause and ask yourself, is this a memory, or is it a story you've told yourself so many times that it has become your truth?